Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Sandra. 我是你们的老师 Sandra. First, of course, let's exchange pleasantries. 让我们打招呼 ，greet each other. 打招呼 Okay, so 大家好，你们好吗？ I hope the answer is 很好。And of course, 欢迎 Welcome to Community Mandarin as always. 今天很冷 Today is very cold. 今天很冷 That's why I'm wearing a 毛衣 sweater. Okay. All right. So today, piggyback on what we had last time, we're going to review what we learned last time, which is the punctuation marks. How do I call punctuation marks in Mandarin? What's the Mandarin name for that? Do you guys still remember? If not, it's okay. We're gonna review all the marks we learned last time and how do we call them in Mandarin. And then we're going to practice to use them in sentences and see if we actually really learn them by heart. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump in. First, let's get into our favorite setting. Okay, so now we're looking at a series of punctuation marks. If anybody don't remember how to call punctuation marks, yeah, it is actually shorter than we call it in English. We say 标点符号. All right, let's look at the first 标点符号。第一个标点符号 is little cereal. Remember, little cereal, it works the same way as the English little dots, which is the period of full stop. But in Mandarin, we write it a little bit differently. We write a little tiny circle, almost like the size of a cereal. Okay, so we call it, do you remember? 句号. 句号. Okay, 第二个, the second 标点符号 punctuation mark would be this one, right? Comma, right? Comma is called 逗号. 逗号. All right. 第三个标点符号 would be question mark, which in Mandarin is called, do you remember? 问号. 问号, because 问 means to ask in Mandarin. So 问号. 第四个标点符号 the fourth punctuation marks. It is what? Exclamation mark, right? It is called what in Mandarin? 感叹号. 感叹号. Next, 第五个标点符号 we call it what? 冒号. Yes, 冒号. For column, we call it 冒号. All right, now let's see. Have you remembered or refreshed your memory about those 5 we've learned last time? Yes. We have 句号 as full stop, 逗号 as comma, 问号 as question mark, 感叹号 as exclamation mark, and last but not least, we have 冒号 as column. Okay, now let's move on to the second column. So first one, we have 分号. 分号 is what we use to divide sentences. So 分号, because 分 means to divide, to split. And next one, 省略号, ellipsis marks. 省略号. And for this, it's also different than what we do in English, because in English we do 3 dots, 三个点, right? In Mandarin, we have to double it. We have to do 六个点, 6 dots as your 省略号. And next one, 下一个 round bracket. In Mandarin, we call it 括号. And next one, quotation marks. In Mandarin, we call it 引号. So for the first for half of quotation marks, we call it 上引号, the upper quotation marks. And the quotation marks that we use by the end of your quote, we call it 下引号, the below quotation marks. Okay. And last but not least, we have, what do we have? We have 书名号. Yes, 书名号. 书名号 is something that we don't have in English. And then it looks like double little arrows on each side of, usually it's the name of your book or the name of a magazine or the name of a movie, you know, the equivalent of a book. So we have 书名号. Namely, it literally is the book name mark. So it's used to mark a book name. It's used to mark a book name. Okay, so now that we refresh our memories about all these commonly used quotation marks, 常用的标点符号, now what we're going to do is to put them into practice. 练习 practice. Okay, so first let's look at some sentence. Sentence number 1. 请跟我读 first, of course. 妹妹是一名小学生。妹妹是一名小学生。What? First, let's figure out what the sentence means. It shouldn't be hard at this point. 妹妹, what's that? Younger sister, huh? 妹妹是 is something, and this something is 小学生. Do you guys still remember 小学 or 学生? It means elementary schooler. And then over here we have your numeral numbers and measure word and noun pattern. So 妹妹 is 一名 one. Of course, 妹妹 is one because 妹妹 is one person, right? 妹妹 is one elementary schooler. So for this sentence, what do you think? What kind of quotation mark should we use for that? It is nothing fancy, nothing out of the norm, right? It's just a simple statement, just a simple statement. So, of course, in this case, we should put a full stop by the end of the sentence, or a little serial, 句号, right? And let's look at number 2. 你的家在哪儿？你的家在哪儿？ So this one is a very, again, new word wise, I think we have none, right? 你的家, your home. 在 at 哪儿 where. So where is your home? Am I sensing a question? Yes. Well, this is one of those questions that we call it WH questions. It's asking where is your home? So we don't need a ma by the end of the sentence, but we can't deny the fact it is still a question. So for question, of course, we're gonna use, right, 问号 question mark, 问号. All right, now let's look at the last sentence. First, 请跟我读。他问你在看什么书？他问 First, we just learned that 问号 means question mark, right? And 问 means to question someone, to ask someone. So 他问 he asks. What does he ask? 你在看什么书？ What book are you looking or are you reading? So we have 在, which would trigger a present tense, and then 看书. When we say 看书, it means to look at a book. But in Mandarin, I believe I've touched base with that before. It means to read a book for entertainment. To read a book for entertainment, not for strictly study reasons. We usually say 看书 instead of 读书, like literally read a book. So he asks, what book are you reading? So first we gotta get some column right after he asks, right? So I remember like in English, if we say he asked, it's usually followed by a comma. But in Mandarin, if we have the content of his question right after that, we use a column 冒号 instead of a comma 逗号. So we need a column right behind 他问. And after that, we have the content of the question, right? Of course, we're going to put them into 引号, correct, quotation marks. And the thing he's asking is a question itself. So, of course, we have to put a question mark, 问号, right after 书, right? Because that's the content of the question. Okay, let's see if we're correct. On this case, there we go. So we now over here we have our correct answer. Number 1, 妹妹是一名小学生。句号。Number 2, 你的家在哪儿？问号。Number 3, 他问冒号上引号你在看什么书？问号下引号。Did you get it right? Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, after we put the 标点符号 into practice, it'll make more sense to you guys and it makes it seem more easier to follow and easier to use it in the future. So, okay, I'll see you next week. And of course, I'm gonna let Rola's website silently scroll along the over here, and then yes, if you have a extra moment, hop over to YouTube and watch more language learning videos. They're usually 10 minutes long and they're for free and they're pretty easy and fun to watch sometimes. So I'll see you next week. 下次再见。